Good morning. Greetings, friends, and welcome to The Bright Side, your nutritional program dedicated to the understanding of the vast world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. I'm your host, Pharmacist Ben, nutritional pharmacist from Boulder, Colorado. I use nutritional supplements where other healthcare practitioners use toxic pharmaceutical drugs and sometimes deadly medical procedures. If you suspect that there are natural nutritional roads to your health and vitality and well-being and to addressing your health challenges, whatever they may be, but you don't know where to begin, you have come to the right place. As you listen to The Bright Side every day, you are more and more in control of your body. You are more and more knowledgeable, and you know you can overcome any health challenge. That is why we are here every day on The Bright Side, helping clear up the sometimes confusing world of nutrition and nutritional supplementation. Over the last 31 years of practicing pharmacy, I have seen drug-free recoveries from diabetes, hypertension, obesity, skin diseases like acne, psoriasis, eczema, rosacea, digestive ailments, autoimmune issues of all kinds, recoveries that by the standards of modern medicine can only be called a miracle. But what is in the world of the body, what is in the world of biology, standard operating procedure, because the human biological system is a healing system, it's a regenerating system, it is designed divinely to heal and renew itself on a moment-to-moment basis. And while some folks may call that a miracle, it really is just the way the body works. If you have questions about health, nutrition, prescription drugs, if you want to wean yourself off your meds and get on a good nutritional supplement program, we want to hear from you. 844-236-6010 is our number. We can help you change your life today using nutritional supplements, using dietary and lifestyle strategies as well. If you're on a prescription drug, as I've said so many times, if you're on a prescription drug long-term, your number one health goal should be to figure out how to get off of it, and nothing is more important for weaning yourself off your meds than a good nutritional supplement program. Nutrients are what drugs dream they could be. When a drug goes to bed at night and has a fantasy dream, a wild wish fantasy dream, it dreams it was vitamin C. Nutrients are what the body uses. Drugs are what the body wants to eliminate. Nutrient deficiency is what is behind many, or at least partially behind, many long-term degenerative diseases. There is no such thing as a drug deficiency disease. If you're on a drug, people, you are not getting better, period. Now, do you need antibiotics sometimes? Yes. Do you need pain pills sometimes? Praise God for pain pills. I've often said that. But the kind of drugs I'm referring to that you want to wean yourself off of are the kind of drugs that you're just on, that you're never going to get better from, that you're only going to have to take more and more and more over time, that you're going to be on the rest of your life. Those are the kind of drugs your number one health challenge should be to figure out how to get off of them. And that's why we are here on The Bright Side every day. We can help you. 844-236-6010 is our number. If you have questions about anything we're speaking about here today, skin health questions, formulations, ingredients, something you may have heard about, read about, or of course, if you have a success story you'd like to share, we especially love hearing those. Or if you want to contribute to the conversation, 844-236-6010. is our number on The Bright Side. If you want to purchase any of the longevity products you hear advertised or recommended on The Bright Side, head to brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, or criticalhealthnews.com. And if you'd like to purchase any of our Truth Skin Health products, truthtreatments.com for our Truth Retinol 5% Gel, Truth Transdermal C Serum, Truth Transdermal C Balm, and our Truth Omega 6 Healing Cream, all made with lots of vitamin C, never any preservatives, fragrances, fillers, waxes, emulsifiers, water, nothing your skin doesn't need or doesn't want in any of our Truth Treatment products. They're all up at truthtreatments.com. Okay, welcome back to The Bright Side. Oh, we got a guest coming up at the bottom of the hour. Dr. Jerry Peterman is going to be talking about his Time Challenger formulations. Dr. Peterman is a naturopath, student of naturopathy, and he's also got a background in engineering, and he's been formulating nutritional products that kind of bridge both worlds, using cellular electronics, or at least leveraging cellular electronics with nutrition, which is something we talk about all the time on The Bright Side. We'll be talking to Dr. Peterman at the bottom of the hour. We'll get your calls here in our next segment, 844-236-6010. Speaking of electronics, we've been talking about the halogens. The halogens are the iodine lookalikes. They can mess up the health of our thyroid and wreak health havoc on pretty much every system in the body, the skin, the glands, all the glands, the adrenal glands, the kidneys, and most especially the brain and the nervous system, which we'll be talking about here later on or in the next few days. And in the case of fluoride, especially wreaking havoc on the teeth and the bones. The thing about the halogens, all of them, they are highly electrical. They're extremely negative, and that's how we say it in chemistry and biochemistry. They're negative, which means they suck up electrical energy very, very effectively. They're super electrical substances. If you put them in a light bulb, they can suck up excess energy, and that can allow you to generate a lot of heat without damaging the filament. That's called a halogen light. Halogen light is a light that uses iodine or bromine, which are super electrical, to suck up, like a sponge, mop up excess electrical energy so you can get a really hot burn, and that gives you a bright light. And that's what a halogen headlight is, for example. You've got four main halogens. We talked about iodine. We're going to be talking a lot about iodine. That's the only, well, that's the main, I don't say the only, but that's the main biological halogen. We talked about bromine, and by the way, bromine and bromide, iodine and iodide, chlorine and chloride, and fluorine and fluoride, they're basically interchangeable. Those are your four halogens: iodine, bromine, chlorine, and fluorine. And they all have powerful electrical energy-sucking effects. They're all powerfully negative or reactive. In chemistry, when something's very reactive, it has to be tightly controlled. In biochemistry, especially. In all chemistry, because when things are highly reactive, they can explode. Well, in biochemistry, it's even more important because miniature explosions can cause tremendous damage. The body's a really tightly choreographed. The chemistry in the body is really tightly choreographed. It all involves electronics. If you throw some kind of highly reactive or highly electrical substance into the mix, you're going to mess things up. This is the problem with the halogens. This is the problem with all environmental toxins. The body's a finely tuned system. You can't just start throwing things into the system. When a highly reactive substance is introduced into a complex, sophisticated system like a cell, which is beyond belief how complex and sophisticated it is, chaos is the ultimate result. Chaos and destruction. And this destruction and this chaos is behind halogen toxicity, which we've been talking about now for a few weeks. And it's really it's a major health issue that kind of nobody really discusses, although people in the know talk about this, bromine toxicity and fluoride toxicity and chloride toxicity. But it's really, considering how significant a health factor it could be, we really don't talk about it, in my opinion, anywhere near enough. So there's one halogen that the body needs in relatively high amounts. That's iodine. However, under conditions of iodine deficiency, the body will kind of make do with what's around. Not that it will have a biological, necessarily do its biological work when, for example, thyroid hormone connects up with bromine or fluoride, but nonetheless, the thyroid hormone will still attempt to do its business with bromine or with chloride or with fluorine when iodine is not present. And this accounts for what we call functional hypothyroidism, where the thyroid itself is not messed up, but the fluorine is blocking the iodine, or the iodine deficiency is causing fluorine to block the hormone. Which is to say, make sure you get enough iodine so your fluoride isn't blocking that thyroid hormone. That's just another reason why you want to make sure you're on an iodine supplement if you're drinking a lot of fluoridated water or brushing with fluoridated toothpaste. There's other places we get fluoride too you don't even think about. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. So halogens, four main halogens. Iodine is your biological halogen. They're all highly electrically active. In chemistry we say they're negative. Guess which halogen is the most highly reactive of the four? Guess which halogen is the most highly negative of the four? Which is the most reactive and electrically reactive? They're all the halogens are electrically active, okay? They're all electrically active. You don't want to be pouring any of them into the environment, but guess which halogen is the most powerful, deadly, toxic, and reactive? It's the one that we're dumping in the water supply. Yes, fluoride. Of the four halogens, this is the most reactive. Usually when toxic chemicals and pollutants contaminate our environment, it's accidental. It's a byproduct. With fluoride, it's intentional. They actually are intentionally put in the water. We talked about the history of it. We'll continue talking about that as well. We've got so much to talk about when it comes to fluoride toxicity. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. 844-236-6010 is our number. You're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. right, we're back on the bright side. I'm Pharmacist Ben, 844-236-6010 is our number. We'll get your calls here in this segment. Got Dr. Jerry Peterman coming up at the bottom of the hour. We're going to talk a little bit about nutrition and cellular electronics. It's all electrical, folks. Yes, I'm a chemistry geek, but chemistry at the end of the day is about electronics. The body is fundamentally an electrical system, and chemistry is secondary to electricity. And electricity or electrical energy, or by manipulating electricity and electrical energy, that's how we get healthy biochemically. That's how vitamins work. That's how nutrients work. That's how the Mighty 90 essential nutrients work. That's how all nutrients work. They facilitate electronics. They facilitate electrical energy in the cell. The cell's like a little battery, and you don't want to be interfering with that electrical energy. That's the whole problem with the halogens, among other toxins that we have introduced into our environment industrially and through as a byproduct of our 21st century modern lifestyle. But fluoride is different. Fluoride is intentionally added into the water supply, and how that occurred, how that came to be, is a very interesting story, which we touched on last time on our last episode, on our last Brightside episode. And we're going to talk a little bit more because I want to talk about Edward Bernays and this whole idea of how we are manipulated against our will by tapping into our subconscious deep needs and desires and drives. Learning to understanding that 90% of our actions and our behaviors are subconsciously driven. We do them and we don't even know why we're doing them, or sometimes we don't even know that we're doing them. But other people, marketers, advertisers, people trying to sell us stuff, they know good and well about our subconscious drives. Edward Bernays was one of the first, maybe the first guy to really understand that subconscious drives could be manipulated for profit. And he came up with all kinds of strategies for doing that. He wrote a book called Propaganda in the 1920s, I believe, or 1930s. Well, anyway, we'll talk about how all of that is related to fluoride and this crazy idea that you can dump an industrial toxin into the environment, have people drink the stuff, and not have health challenges associated with it. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. I'm going to read one study here, and then we'll get your call, so hang on. This one is from the journal Kidney International. Kidney disease increases the risk of diabetes. Well, we knew diabetes increased the risk of kidney disease. Now it turns out when the kidneys are messed up, your risks of dysglycemia become higher as well. I prefer to call diabetes dysglycemia. Dysglycemia means messed up blood sugar. Diabetes is like a proclamation. And once you get diagnosed or proclaimed a diabetic, then you get your drugs at a certain cost, and you fit into a category, an insurance category. You get you fall into a certain classification that allows you to have certain medical procedures and diagnostic tests done, and your insurance rates change. It's a classification, really, and that's what we think disease is. We think disease is a classification. Classification has become lumped with disease. That doesn't help us because you can't heal a classification. You can't deal with a classification medically or therapeutically, but you can deal with a biological dysfunction very effectively. All you got to do is figure out what's causing the dysfunction, period. If you say, I'm going to have diabetes, there's nothing you could do, and doctors tell you, well, you're diabetic for life. But if you say, my blood sugar doesn't seem to be controlled, I'm dysglycemic, my blood sugar is out of control, now you have some power. You just stop doing the things that change your blood sugar or that make your blood sugar go out of control. That's not hard. And then you support your body's ability to process sugar. That's not hard. And it's not medical. And it doesn't require a doctor or a drug. That's why they want us to think that we have diseases, not that our biochemistry is off. All right, 844-236-6010 is our number. Tulsa, Oklahoma. Taylor, is that you? Dr. Taylor?
Yeah.
Hey, Taylor. Nice to talk to you this morning.
You too.
Happy birthday, officially, on the air.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
What's going on? Nice to hear from you. How can we help?
Yeah, for sure. That's great to hear you. So I have a good friend who just, started becoming a hardcore longevity distributor, and she suffers from polycystic ovarian syndrome because she did Herbalife, and so she had a lot of soy consumed all the time. And I know an overload of estrogen is what you said caused that. But I'm getting different opinions from you and Dr. Wallach and Dr. Glynn on what to do.
Don't be getting me into don't be causing me rocking the boat here, Dr. Taylor Mitchell.
No.
Don't be rocking the boat on me here. Yeah, sometimes we disagree. Well, part of me wants to know what they say, but it doesn't really matter. Here's the deal. This is official, and you could take it to the bank, okay? I don't know what Dr. Glynn or Dr. Wallach say, and I love both those guys. They're great. They're friends, and I don't want bad, but sometimes we disagree. So here's the deal. 2 words. There's only 2 words you need to understand when it comes to PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome. Number 1, estrogen. Number 2, insulin. Those are the 2 main causes. Now, it's a chicken and the egg kind of thing, which came first. It could be the soy causing the estrogen, which throws off blood sugar. It could be the sugar causing the insulin, which throws off the estrogen. It's a chicken and egg phenomenon. It's hard to say which came first. Work on both. When we say work on insulin, that's easy. Or blood sugar and insulin. That's easy. Just stop eating the sugar and start eating more sugar-stabilizing foods like fiber and protein and such, although you do got to be a little careful with protein. Make sure you're using the Sweeties, the Ultimate Niacin, Beyond Tangy Tangerine, the Fucoid Z, Ultimate Selenium. These are all for helping stabilize the insulin, right? That's step number 1. Step number 2 is work with estrogen. How do you work with estrogen? Well, for a couple things. First of all, it's not really estrogen that's the problem as much as it is estrogen metabolites, things that estrogen breaks down into. Estrogen is broken down in steps. You probably know this from naturopathic school. You know how estrogen is broken down into various byproducts and then it's cleared out by the liver. So if you have a liver problem, which is a digestive problem and also a blood sugar problem, by the way, then you're not going to be able to process your estrogen as well. So you got to focus on liver health. You got to focus on the health of the microbiome and the intestine, because that's where these are all involved in estrogen processing. Making sure you having regular bowel movements, using fiber, using more B complex. Also, a lot of the nutrients that help you handle sugar will also help you handle estrogen, especially zinc and selenium, both of stupendously important, for both blood sugar control and insulin. You should be using both of those. And then also balancing out the estrogen with progesterone cream and pregnenolone. That can also help. Vitamin A and vitamin E also have estrogen balancing effects too. Just that alone, if you just take everything I just said and have her listen to that and follow that protocol, just that alone will make a dramatic, beyond words, the kind of dramatic difference you're going to make in her life. But there's more. She should be doing a food diary and eliminating problem foods. She should be eating less food, calorie restriction. If she's not exercising, she should absolutely be exercising and focusing on lymphatic drainage. Is she an exercise person?
Oh, yeah. We
Okay, good.
Like 3 times a week together.
Good deal. Make sure she's moving that lymph. Slow, deep breathing, hanging upside down, lymphatic massage, anything, getting on a rebounder, all that stuff. But that's a ton of information. There's no reason she should have PCOS if she does everything I just said. Dr. Taylor, I want to get one more call in. Thank you. Nice to hear from you.
Thank you.
Have a great day. Bye-bye. All right, Pete in Edina. What's going on? Pete in Edina, Minnesota. What's up?
Hello, Dr. Ben. Thank you so much for taking my call.
You're nice to hear from Pharmacist
person. Ben. I just can't believe the medical system is so screwed up.
It's really...
I can testify to that with all the problems for my wife, but...
Yeah, it's a scary thought that the people that they're supposed to be caring for us the most are doing way more damage. Although they do some good, especially when it comes to surgical procedures and emergency medicine. Pete, I'm going to get you first up. We got to take a commercial break, okay? Don't go away. I'm sorry I had to do this to you. All right, I'm Pharmacist Ben. We're coming back. We'll finish up with Pete, and then we'll talk to Dr. Jerry Peterman about his formulations and also a little bit about cellular electronics and how you can use cellular electronics, nutritional supplements to improve cell electronics. All right, you're listening to The Bright Side. We'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Okay, we're back on The Bright Side. Pharmacist Ben here. We're on the air Monday through Friday, 8 to 9 Pacific and 10 to 11 Central Time, 24/7 on our archive pages, brightsideben.com and benfuchsarchives.com. You can also sign up to join the Brightside Ben team from off the websites, brightsideben.com, pharmacistben.com, and criticalhealthnews.com, or you can call 866-735-2470. That's 866-735-2470 for more info. Got Jerry Peterson, Dr. Jerry Peterson coming on here in just a moment. I want to finish up with Pete in Minnesota, and then we'll talk to Dr. Peterson. Dr. Peterson is an engineer / nuclear scientist / nutritionist and formulator, and he's come up with some really interesting and creative nutritional formulations. We'll talk to Jerry about his formulations and about some of his ideas here momentarily. Want to finish up with Pete in Edina, Minnesota. What's going on, Pete? You there?
Yeah, briefly, I'll thank you again for your wonderful program and advice. And
thank you.
The doctors are misleading us on a lot of things, but my question right now, because my wife has been sick for so many years, she's probably had about 40 MRIs, and I'm wondering what the damage could happen from all this contrast they put in her body. Nobody seems to know anything about it.
Well, what's she got? Why have they done 40 MRIs on her?
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of it's psychosomatic behavior.
Okay.
And so she wants to go to the emergency room, and so they go through this 4 days thing. They can get paid by Medicare, Social Security. So they put her through the
they're milking her
hospital. Then they send her to rehab.
Okay, well, you know what?
In the emergency room, she gets these MRIs.
They make a lot of money on these MRIs. I'm not sure how much they go for, but there's a lot of money.
A couple grand at least.
A couple grand at least. It's a scam. That's one of the hidden ways that we're exploited and taken advantage of by the healthcare system is through diagnostics and excessive diagnostics. Magnetic resonance MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, as it's said, is when they take this huge magnet and they generate an electrical field, and then they just focus this electromagnetic field on a specific area of the body, and then they can see what things look like. Basically, that's what it is. But the point is, it's a huge electrical setup, and then they have to inject things into you to contrast dyes to make the electronics work, and so a picture can be formed. Not good. Lots of vitamin C for this gal. Lots. Heavy doses, IV, if I were you. Chelating agents. I mean, lots of things you could do. Get her on a nutritional supplement program, obviously, the Healthy Start Pack and the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, but extra vitamin C, extra vitamin E. Make sure she's using her Ultimate Selenium. I'd be using the Fuchs Z as well. Probably wouldn't hurt her to make sure that she's using other strategies like calorie restriction and keeping her sugar stables, just to be kind to the body. It's a little concerning about the whole psychosomatic thing, because if it's been going on for a while, psychosomatic can actually cause somatic. You can actually make yourself sick by thinking about it. So, you got to get all of that stuff under control. I always hesitate to say just use this nutritional supplement or this nutritional strategy, because health challenges, especially long-term health challenges where we don't get better, or health challenges where we plateau, where we get better for a little bit, we get on a supplement program, we get better for a little bit, and then our healing plateaus. Usually those are associated with psychological things, spiritual things, even mental, emotional issues that need to be addressed. And as much as I like talking about those, now's not the time, because we got a guest coming on, but you got tons of information there to start the process. I really appreciate the kind words. Anything else you want to say?
No, I was just trying to get a comment on that stuff they inject as to
It's not great. Not great. And the whole MRI thing is not great either. Certainly 40 MRIs, you never know what's going to be accumulating in an already fragile and destabilized system. Okay. Thanks so much, Pete. Take care, buddy. Happy holidays.
One quick thing to say, if I can.
Yeah?
It's supporting what you're saying all along. The doctors told my wife her MS disappeared. And I believe you asked me last time I talked to you how I think that went away. Well, I think it's partially because of the program I got her on with Good Things to Eat and all of that. But Mayo Clinic just published about a third of a page of the newspaper saying that MS and arthritis are caused by bad gut bacteria.
Hello. So where have you heard that before?
Yeah.
Great.
Thank you
it's
so
official
much.
now. Thank you, Pete. Take care. Okay.
Bye.
I'm telling you guys, it all goes back to the digestive system. I don't know why we don't want to hear it. Well, I do know why we don't want to hear it, but we got to hear it if we're sick. And I'm not saying that you have to get on some kind of crazy nutritional dietary program. I'm just saying if you're on a drug, or you're stuck at the doctor's office, or you're going to be in a wheelchair, you're going to have your legs amputated, these are wonderful options that you should at least be exploring if you want to keep your legs, or you don't want to be on the drugs. All right, it's about options. That's all this is about, is options, choices. We have choice. We have options. Okay. I am very excited to have our next guest on. I've been talking to this gentleman now for a couple of years. We've been trying to get him on, work with his products. I want to have him on my website. He's just got some really interesting stuff to say and really interesting formulations. His product is called the Time Challenger. His line is called the Time Challenger. Please welcome to the bright side, Dr. Jerry Peterman. Jerry, you there?
Hey, good morning, Ben.
Good morning. Nice to talk to you, officially on the air. We've been trying to do this for a while now. Real quickly, because we don't have a lot of time, real quickly, you're studying naturopathy. You're almost done with your doctorate. You also have a background in engineering, and I find that combination very fascinating, as I was telling you, because I think it allows you to look at chemistry, biochemistry, biology, nutritional chemistry from an electronic standpoint, and fundamentally, that's what it's all about, right, Jerry?
Absolutely. We're an electrochemical being.
And so, how do you tell me how you formulate to leverage electronics or the electromagnetics inside the body? How do you create formulas that take advantage of that idea?
It comes down to the basis of my philosophy being most everything in the body is maintained by the health of the mitochondria. If you get the mitochondria happy and feed the mitochondria properly with a certain specific nutrients, then things start to balance out.
Okay, pretend I'm in kindergarten. I'm in nursery school. What's a mitochondria?
Mitochondria are small organelles. They're small.
No, I'm a kindergartner. You got to explain it to me like to.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They're little tiny organisms, if you will, that live inside of every human cell, and their job is to harvest the material.
I'm in kindergarten. I'm in kindergarten.
The food that comes in is digested by these little individuals inside our cells, and they give some material to the cell to eat, ATP, and that is a material that the cell can eat. And it makes the cell happy.
So the mitochondria eat our food and turn our food into this stuff called ATP.
That's correct.
And ATP is like the stuff, the basic energy element in the body. It's how energy is carried in the body.
That's correct. Now we have an odd situation. We're a symbiotic being with these mitochondria. They can't live without us, and we can't live without them.
Isn't that amazing? Have you heard the story of how it all began?
Well, I think it's bacteria. That's what I was told originally, many
kind of interesting.
Thousands or millions of years ago. But,
billions of years ago. Billions of years ago, these little bacteria kind of entered into cells and they became part of the cells. And not only became part of the cells, but they actually allowed the cells to exist in an oxygen environment. And it turns out that these little mitochondria actually have their own genetics even, right?
Yes, they do. They're passed on by the mother's egg to men and women, but only women pass it on, and they divide.
Hey, Jerry, we got to take a break. We got to take a break, buddy. We'll come back right after this on the bright side. We'll talk some nutritional supplements with Dr. Jerry Peterman. Okay, we are back on the bright side. Pharmacist Ben here, talking to Dr. Jerry Peterman about mitochondria and energy and how the cells use energy. The whole body and cells themselves are electrical systems. Energy is about the movement of electrical energy, a movement of electrons, pieces of electricity. It's all about pieces of electricity called electrons, and you can actually use food and nutrition. In fact, that's how food and nutrition works, right, Jerry?
Certainly.
Food and nutrition works by how they change the electronics of the body and the electronics of cells. So how did you tell us a little bit about how your nutritional supplements take advantage or leverage this idea?
One of the main things that this product does, it has a lot of antioxidants in it.
And what do you say? Excuse me, Jerry. When you say product, you're talking about one particular product?
I'm talking about the Time Challenger product line. I have about 7 products that utilize the base formula, and various things have been added to it. But the idea is to reduce the damage done by free radicals first, and then make sure that there's enough nutritional material for the mitochondria specifically, and that's like acetyl-L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic, DHEA.
Well, hang on, Jerry. Jerry, hang on. Before you get into the specifics of it, just so I understand, you have a base formula that's and that base formula is it's for mitochondrial support. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and then around that base formula, you build you add other various nutritional supplements for various health needs. Is that right?
That's correct. Yes.
Gotcha. So what is the base formula? Is that what you were just describing?
Yes, we had started out with 4 basic materials: acetyl-L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic, DHEA, and CoQ10.
Okay, hang on. Acetyl-L-carnitine, alpha-lipoic acid, DHEA, and coenzyme Q10.
That's correct.
Those are the 4 elements of your basic formula.
That's the base. And then I added resveratrol in a 600 milligram dose per day to that, because resveratrol has a huge number of properties that are beneficial to the body. A lot of it is the reduction of inflammation. And if you can reduce inflammation in the body and the cells and improve the respiration of the cells and that kind of thing, it really has a lot to do with that.
Okay, now resveratrol... Is resveratrol? I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but you're saying so much stuff there. I want to kind of make sure I understand everything. Is resveratrol part of the big 4 there, or is that added to it?
No, it's added to it.
Okay, gotcha.
I decided to put that in after about a year of taking the base material and realized that I wanted this to do a lot more. And then I felt like I needed a few vitamins. I needed a B complex, a heavy dose of B complex. I needed a large dose of D3 and vitamin E. So I made sure that those were in there as well.
In the base formula?
Well, it's the whole base now. The formula is much larger now.
Gotcha. So you got a base formula, and what do you call that product that is just the base formula?
Time Challenger Original.
I gotcha. So the Time Challenger Original, that's the one with the alpha-lipoic acid and the DHEA and the coenzyme Q10 and the resveratrol and the vitamin E and these other supplements that support mitochondrial health. Time Challenger Original. Correct. And so who should use that?
I think anybody that's anybody over, say, about 25 years old, because at 28 you have the most mitochondria you'll ever have, and after that it's downhill from environmental degradation, fake food, all the other things that happen to us. So anybody from, say, 28 to forever needs to be taking the product, but it's the amount that you take. Young people at that age, a little older, would be taking 1. It's age and weight dependent. So you have to judge that about how old a person is, what kind of weight they have, and that kind of thing, and then it all comes together.
And what would a young person notice when they got on the Time Challenger Original? Young, healthy person.
Basically, a lot more energy. They would have a good energy. But one of the things they may not notice much, but if they're a runner, they're going to increase their ability to run. We have one guy that's been on it for 9 years now, and he went from being fairly mediocre to being rated number 3 in his age group in triathlon athletes in the state of Texas.
Now, how about older folks? What would they notice? Older folks who are starting to break down a little bit.
Oh, my God. It's great for that, because they're going to start a little less dementia. They're going to start to get their cognitive skills back, because, remember, this affects mitochondria. Mitochondria are really active in the neurons of the brain. At 10,000 in one neuron, where you only have about 500 in the skin on your big toe. So you're going to see cognitive improvement. You're going to see skin improve.
Now you have
that kind of thing.
You have a special connection to the brain health issue, right? Do you mind talking about that a little bit?
I do.
So tell the listeners a little bit about what you went through personally and how it helped you. This whole idea of mitochondrial support.
I was assaulted in 1986, and I did not know that I had an undiagnosed bleeder, which had shut off and produced a small tumor in my brain. It is not malignant or anything. It's just there. It wiped out a small, about the size of an acre, and wiped out some of my brain. And in 2009, I ended up having all the symptoms of a stroke. and could not stand on my feet, could not see out of my left field of vision. That's both eyes, left field of vision, which is really weird. I was basically jabbering and producing unintelligible speech, had to hunt for words and everything else. And it took me about 3 years to fully recover, but I was back at work in 6 months. And I took only Time Challenger. I did not take any of the stuff that the doctors were trying to give me for symptoms. I didn't want to suppress symptoms. I wanted to reestablish my functions in the brain, because I knew the brain had plasticity. It could regenerate, and it did. And I'm back.
That's great. So, and how many years ago was this now? 7 years ago?
This was 2009.
So almost 9 years ago, or no, 2009, 7 years ago. 8 years ago. 8 years ago. Well, that's good. I always like to hear when people who formulate products, if they have personal stories, how it changed their lives, because I know what nutritional supplementation did for me personally in my life. And when you see how these things work in your life personally, it makes you a believer. I mean, you just want to stand on the rooftop and scream to everybody.
Oh, I'm the band leader.
Exactly. Yeah. So tell us, before we run out of time, first of all, what's your website?
It's timechallengerlabs.com.
Okay, so all the products are available at timechallengerlabs.com. And then tell us a little bit about the other products, the satellite products, I guess you call them, that are built around the original formulation.
Well, we also have athletic recovery, which allows young people who are anywhere from about 25 to 45 to really improve on their athletic performance. And that it contains glucosamine and chondroitin. And then we have a heavier dose of that, which is arthritis response, which is really, really good for once we get older. I ask people just to stop taking Time Challenger and start taking the arthritis formula, because it's everything in the original plus glucosamine and chondroitin. And then we have a diabetic response product, which can dramatically lower A1C, according to my customers. And they swear by it. So,
how long does it take? How long does it take to lower the A1C? If you know.
I've been told 6 weeks. Okay. I knew a guy that took that, and in 6 weeks, his A1C dropped 40%.
Is that right?
He's been on 15 years. He could not bring it down.
Wow.
So,
now, how long will it take people to notice results from the original Time Challenger?
It depends on their level of being decrepit or not.
Okay.
A healthy person is only going to see more energy, but a person that's really in bad shape is going to get really excited, because within 2 or 3 days they start to feel better. I mean, it's dramatic.
Within 2 or 3.
Dramatic.
That's people who are like falling apart, basically.
Yes.
Which
and
unfortunately is.
I mean, they'll call me up and they say, "My God, this is incredible." That one lady that. She was the biggest skeptic in the world, and 7 days later, she's calling up and saying a knee does not hurt anymore, and I've had to fight with the doctors for 18 months because of this bad arthritic knee, and I have no more inflammation. And that was
awesome.
7 days. That's what she said.
All right, so they're all available at timechallengerlabs.com, correct? Timechallengerlabs.com.
Yes,
all right, that's all the time we have, Jerry. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it. I'll be talking to you soon. Thank you, dear. That was Dr. Jerry Peterman. His product line is called the Time Challenger, and you can find out all about it at timechallengerlabs.com, timechallengerlabs.com. And that's all the time we have for today on The Bright Side. Thanks for listening, friends. We'll continue talking fluoride and halogen toxicity and what you can do about it. We'll get into some stuff about filters tomorrow as we continue talking about the thyroid and hypothyroidism on The Bright Side. Check out my websites, brightsideben.com for the longevity products, and also pharmacistben.com and criticalhealthnews.com, and our Truth Skin Health products at truthtreatments.com. Have yourselves a wonderful, beautiful, awesome, spectacular day. We'll talk to y'all later, folks. Bye for now.